So in this video, we're going to go over the importance of purpose, audience, tone, and content. Imagine reading one long block of text, with each idea blurring into the next. Even if you are reading a thrilling novel or an interesting news article, you will likely lose interest in what the author has to say very quickly. During the writing process, it is helpful to position yourself as a reader. Ask yourself whether you can focus easily on each point you make. One technique that effective writers use is to begin a fresh paragraph for each new idea they introduce. Paragraphs separate ideas into logical, manageable chunks. One paragraph focuses on only one main idea and presents coherent sentences to support that one point. Because all the sentences in one paragraph support the same point, a paragraph may stand on its own. To create longer assignments and discuss more than one point, writers group together paragraphs. 3 elements shape the content of each paragraph. Purpose, the reason the writer composes the paragraph. Tone, the attitude the writer conveys about the paragraph's subject. Audience, the individual or group whom the writer intends to address. And so when you have a paragraph, you have an audience, content, tone, and purpose. The purpose for a piece of writing identifies the reason you write a particular document. Basically, the purpose of a piece of writing answers the question, why? For example, why write a play? To entertain a packed theater. Why write instructions to the babysitter? To inform him or her of your schedule and rules. Why write a letter to your congressman? To persuade him to address your community's needs. In academic settings, the reason for writing fulfills 4 main purposes: to summarize, to analyze, to synthesize, and to invest and to evaluate. You will encounter these 4 purposes not only as you read for your classes, but also as you read for work or pleasure. Because reading and writing work together, your writing skills will improve as you read. Eventually, your instructor will ask you to complete assignments specifically designed to meet one of those 4 purposes. And so the first purpose is a summary. A summary shrinks a large amount of information into only the essentials. You probably summarize events, books, and movies daily. Think about the last blockbuster movie you saw or the last novel you read. Chances are, at some point in a casual conversation with a friend, coworker, or classmate, you compressed all the action in a 2-hour movie or in a 200-page book into a brief description of the major plot points. Similarly, a summary paragraph condenses a long piece of writing into a smaller paragraph by extracting only the vital information. A summary uses only the writer's own words. So like the summary's purpose in daily conversation, the purpose of an academic summary paragraph is to maintain all the essential information from a longer document. Analysis paragraph. An analysis paragraph separates complex materials in their different parts and studies how the parts relate to one another. The analysis of simple table salt, for example, would require a deconstruction of its parts. Analysis is not limited to the sciences. An analysis paragraph in academic writing fulfills the same purpose. Instead of deconstructing compounds, academic analysis paragraphs typically deconstruct documents. An analysis takes apart a primary source of an essay, a book, an article, point by point. It communicates the main points of the document by examining individual points and identifying how the points relate to one another. Synthesis paragraph. A synthesis paragraph combines 2 or more items to create an entirely new item. Consider the electronic musical instrument aptly named the synthesizer. It looks like a simple keyboard, but displays a dashboard of switches, buttons, and levers. With the flip of a few switches, a musician may combine the distinct sounds of a piano, a flute, or guitar to create a new sound. The purpose of the synthesizer is to blend together the notes from individual instruments to form a new, unique voice. The purpose of an academic synthesis paragraph is to blend individual documents into a new document. An academic synthesis paragraph considers the main points from one or more pieces of writing and links the main points together to create a new point not replicated in either document. And so when you create a research essay, in essence, you're creating a synthesis of all of the research that you're doing for your topic. And that is the analysis that you do, is that you're the one that puts together the research, you put together your words in order to justify your thesis. An evaluation paragraph. An evaluation judges the value of something and determines its worth. Evaluation and everyday experiences are often not only dictated by set standards, but also influenced by opinion and prior knowledge. An academic evaluation communicates your opinion and its justifications about a document or a topic of discussion. Evaluations are influenced by your reading of the document, your prior knowledge, and your prior experience. Because an evaluation incorporates your point of view and reasons for your point of view, it typically requires more critical thinking and a combination of summary, analysis, and synthesis. Thus, evaluation paragraphs often follow summary, analysis, and synthesis. Imagine you must give a presentation to a group of executives in the office. Weeks before the big day, you spend time creating and rehearsing the presentation. You must make important, careful decisions, not only about the content, but about your delivery. Will the presentation require technology? Should the presentation define important words? Imagine you must explain the same business concepts from your presentation to a group of high school students. Those important questions you previously answered may now require different questions. So in these two situations, the audience, the individuals who will watch and listen your presentation, plays an important role in the development of your presentation. As you prepare the presentation, you visualize the audience to anticipate their expectations and reactions. When what you imagine affects the information you choose to present and how you will present it. Then during the presentation, you meet the audience in person and discover immediately how well you perform. And so when you write a presentation or when you write an essay, you always have to take into account your audience. Although the audience for writing assignments, your readers, may not appear in person, they play an equally vital role. Even in everyday writing activities, you identify your readers' characteristics, interests, and expectations before taking decisions about what you write. In fact, thinking about your audience has become so common that you may not even detect audience-driven decisions. For example, you update your status on a social networking site with the awareness of who will digitally follow the post. If you want to brag about a good grade, you may write the post to please family members. If you want to describe a funny moment, you may write with your friend's sense of humor. And so we always think of our audience, whatever we write. And if we want to market a product, we have to think about the demographics. So when you think about your audience, think about the demographics. So a demographic measures important data about a group of people, such as their age range, their ethnicity, their religious beliefs, or their gender. Certain topics and assignments will require these kinds of considerations about your audience. For other topics and assignments, these measurements may not influence your writing. Education. Consider the audience's level of schooling. If audience members have earned a doctorate, you may need to elevate your style and use more formal language. However, if the audience members are still in college, you could write in a more relaxed style. Prior knowledge. This refers to what the audience already knows about your topic. If your readers have studied certain topics, they may already know some terms and concepts related to the topic. You may decide whether to define terms and explain concepts based on your audience's prior knowledge. Although you cannot peer inside the brains of your readers to discover the knowledge, you can make reasonable assumptions. Expectations. These indicate what readers will look for while reading your assignment. Readers may expect consistency in the assignment's appearance, such as correct grammar and traditional formatting. Readers may also have content-based expectations given the assignment's purpose and organization. So tone, so when you write a paper, you always have to identify who your audience is so that you can better tailor your writing to that audience. Tone identifies a speaker's attitude towards a subject or another person. You may pick up a person's tone of voice fairly easily in conversation. Just as speakers transmit emotion through tone, writers can transmit through writing a range of attitudes from excited and humorous to somber and critical. These emotions create connections among the audience, the author, and the subject, ultimately building a relationship between the audience and the text. To stimulate these connections, writers intimate their attitudes and feelings with useful devices such as sentence structure, word choice, punctuation, formal or informal language. So keep in mind that the writer's attitude should always appropriately match the audience and the purpose. Content refers to all the written substance in a document. After selecting an audience and a purpose, you must choose what information you will put on your page. Content may consist of examples, statistics, facts, anecdotes, testimonies, and observations. But no matter the type, the information must be appropriate and interesting for the audience and purpose. Content is shaped by tone. When the tone matches the content, the audience will be more engaged and you will build a stronger relationship with your readers. Consider the audience of third graders. You would choose simple content that the audience will easily understand. If your audience are PhD students, like I said before, then you would use a more formal tone. Key takeaways. Paragraphs separate ideas into logical, manageable chunks of information. The content of each paragraph and document is shaped by purpose, audience, and tone. The 4 common academic purposes are to summarize, to analyze, to synthesize, and to evaluate. Identifying the audience's demographics, education, and prior knowledge and expectations will affect how and what you write. Devices such as sentence structure, word choice, punctuation, formal or informal language communicate tone and create a relationship between the writer and his or her audience. Content may consist of examples, statistics, facts, anecdotes, testimonies, and observations. All content must be appropriate and interesting for the audience, purpose, and tone. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to the Professor H Writing channel. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at any time.